racing on the highway. Her hand reaches out, she finds the on button and pushes it. Static fills the car, that harsh, empty sound, so like the feelings pressing heavy on her heart. She moves the tuner from radio station to radio station, static easing into momentary voices and snippets of song. She's sampling, searching, moving on. Then something from her past reaches out and stills her hand. She doesn't tune away this song. She knows it well. Diana Ross, from 38 years ago, 1975, the theme from Mahogany. Diana Ross sings, "Do you know where you're going to? Do you like the things that life is showing you? Where are you going to? Do you know?" Her hand trembles at the question, and she suddenly feels exposed. Do you know where you're going to? Lost on this desert road to nowhere, she turns off the radio and reaches for a map. If you don't know where you're going, you'll never find your way. In his search for the source of the Nile River, explorer Sir Richard Burton tells of the danger of losing direction and destination. During one foray into the wilds of Africa, his team lost sense of where they were headed and roamed aimlessly through dunes and 120-degree desert heat. He remembers in his journal, "The sun parched our brains. I opened my eyes to the heat-reeking plain, so blank and deathlike to us. A few hours more, and the little party would be food for the desert beasts. When we had been lost 36 hours without water, we could go no further, and we were prepared to die." If you don't know where you're going, you'll never find your way. In some ways, we are like Burton's little group of explorers. We Unitarian Universalists walk very much in the adventuresome spirit of Captain Burton. Our Unitarian Universalist religious identity historically walks off the beaten path. We've cast aside creed, dogma, and belief in only one way of being religious. We have, like Captain Burton, shaken the fetters of habit, the leaden weight of routine, the cloak of many cares, and the slavery of hope. But our adventure, our challenge, is not the harsh topography of Africa. We traverse the terrain of the Spirit. But as travelers, we are in danger, real danger, of becoming lost. Many of us say that we're on a spiritual journey. We say that we're a spiritual people. Some of us say we are spiritual but not religious. That resonate for a few. I see some smiles. Some of us came to this church truly seeking a spiritual home. We say that this church is a spiritual community, and it is. But what does it mean to be spiritual? Do we have a concept of what we mean when we say spirituality? Or has the word spiritual, like much of our language, been so commonly and casually used that it's been stripped of all meaning? Is spirituality a path leading toward the infinite, or has it become a desert road leading to nowhere? If we don't know where we're going, we'll never find our way. In an article entitled Sacred Blather, Mark Maltzosek writes, "I've come to detest the word spirituality. After years of working in the so-called spiritual community and writing about the spiritual path for a living, I've OD'd on sacred lingo, terms such as mystical, enlightenment, awakening. I'm saddened by how empty these words sound now to me, reduced to cliches through overexposure. Mostly I'm struck by what these words have come to hide and falsify in our scramble for higher consciousness. Matusek suggests that spirituality, like so many other things in our consumer-driven society, has become a label we wear because it feels good, looks good, sounds good. Matusek writes, I'm painfully aware of the insidious ways in which spirituality and all the magic it promises can be misused as an escape or as decoration from lives we feel are too mundane, too drearily just this. Given Matusek's harsh condemnation, I ask us, should we cast aside the word spirituality? Is it meaningless, useless, cliched? Should spirituality go into the great garbage heap of trashed terminology? I don't think so. Our challenge, I believe, is to define spirituality. We must gain clarity in our minds as to what spirituality actually means, what Unitarian Universalist spirituality actually means. Then, with definition, we can find our direction. But if we don't know where we are going, we'll never find our way. What does spirituality mean to you? What does it mean to be spiritual? I suggest that there are three essential elements that contribute to true spirituality: mystery, meaning, and movement. Mystery, meaning, movement. Like Agatha Christie, let's begin with a good mystery. Spirituality is that which invokes mystery in our lives. Spirituality is that which invokes mystery in our lives. It was William Shakespeare who wrote, "There are more things in heaven and earth than are dreamt of in your philosophy." This idea of something unknown that is beyond our comprehension can make some of us very uncomfortable. We're beings that like to know. We're beings that like to be in control of the show. We are beings that like to believe that we can ultimately wrap our minds around all things. Many Unitarian Universalists think that reason and intellect, when applied diligently, will dispel ultimate mystery. All will be revealed. But I don't believe that's true. Reason and intellect will illuminate mystery, but I doubt it will dispel it completely. For example, even as science stretches to the ever-expanding reaches of outer space, the answers received about the origin of the universe invoke still more mystery. Scientists tell us this universe is expanding away from itself at millions of miles per hour. This unceasing race into infinity began with the Big Bang. Science now is showing that the statistical probability of a self-sustaining creation coming from that explosion is so improbable, it is staggering. To quote conservative columnist George F. Will from his article, "The Gospel from Science," the Big Bang sent a cosmos hurtling outward at an unimaginable speed. The forces loosed are remarkably balanced. If the Big Bang had been slightly less violent, the universe would have collapsed back on itself. If the explosion had been slightly more violent, the universe might have dispersed into a soup. The ratio of matter and energy to the volume of space at the Big Bang must have been within 1/quadrillionth of 1% of ideal. Now, in plain English, It is a scientific miracle that our universe exists today. The more we discover with our power to reason, the more miraculous it all seems. The more miraculous it all seems, the more we are encircled by a sense of the infinite mystery of life. We realize there are more things in heaven and earth than are dreamt of in our philosophy. It is the unfathomable that gives spirituality its source. Jack Kornfield, celebrated author and teacher of Buddhist philosophy, says, "One of the preoccupations of people throughout all times and all cultures has been to find that which is sacred, which is transcendental, which goes beyond the small sense of self. In all cultures, this search is taken as a journey. Although separated by continents and by centuries, it's always the same journey. It's the journey of going from the small, self-centered view of the world to an awareness of its vastness and its mystery." Why do we willingly step in and explore this mystery? What drives us in our journey to know the unknowable? The answer, I believe, is simple. We search the mystery because we want meaning. Spirituality is that which gives meaning to our lives. Spirituality is that which gives meaning to our lives. What's one of the first words we ask as children and then incessantly ask? Why? Why are plants green? Why does the sun go bye-bye at night? Why do I make poop? My 4-year-old nephew John is an endless loop of why. As a teen, we add a not to that why, and every response becomes a challenge. Why not? I don't want you. You can't stay out late at night. Why not? I don't want you to see that boy again. Why not? I don't want you to see that movie. Why not? Developmental science has determined that asking why and why not are the tasks of our young people. Why emerges from a child's need to discover their world. Why not emerges from a teen's need to separate and self-differentiate from that world. But I suggest as we grow older, those questions don't stop for us. Why did this happen to me? Why did he die? Why didn't the chemotherapy work? Why did I lose my job? Why don't my kids just do what I say? Why did I marry you? Why did God allow this to happen? Why do I need to change? Why not some good luck come in my way this year? From the earliest age, our life is centered on a search for meaning. Spirituality, in whatever form, should provide a framework and hold a space for that questioning. Spirituality is that which, within the mystery, gives meaning to life. But meaning within mystery is not enough. Adolf Hitler created meaning within the mystery, but Nazism is not spirituality. The religious right and religious fundamentalism creates meaning within the mystery, but veiled hatred is not spirituality. We need one qualifying aspect to create a complete definition of the spiritual. Spirituality must uplift the human condition. It must uplift the universal condition. It must lead us to something life-giving and life-affirming. Spirituality is that which moves us towards hope and creation. Spirituality is that which moves us toward hope and new creation. We're not talking about ignoring reality. We're not talking about pretending that this age of uncertainty, incivility, and anxiety that we are living within is not real. We're not looking for magical escape, but true spirituality dares to find hope within all that is our life. It dares to reform and rebuild even in the broken places. I've shared this story before, but I do so again, one, because I love it. Two, because it illustrates that impulse to find hope amidst the despair, new creation amidst shattered pieces. Richard Seltzer, a cancer surgeon at a major hospital, writes, "I stand by the bed where a young woman lies, her face post-operative, her mouth twisted, clownish. A tiny twig of the facial nerve, the one to the muscles of her mouth, have been severed. Thus she will be from now on. To remove the tumor from her cheek, I had to cut that little nerve." Her young husband is in the room. He stands on the opposite side of the bed, and together they seem to dwell in the evening lamplight, isolated from me, private. Who are they, I ask myself, he and this wry mouth I have made? The young woman speaks. "Will my mouth always be like this?" "Yes," I say, "it will. It is because the nerve was cut." She nods and is silent. But the young man smiles. "I like it," he says. "It's kind of cute." He bends to kiss her crooked mouth, and I, so close, can see how he twists his own lips to accommodate to hers, to show her that their kiss still works. Hope, new creation. This is the impulse that leads us after the long night to stand on the high mountaintop, drinking in the first rays of morning's dawn. This is the impulse that leads us down from that mountaintop into the spring meadow, joining hands and dancing with our sisters and brothers amidst the sounds of stream, bird, bug, and summer breeze. Hope, new creation. This is the same impulse that leads us to light candles on these cold winter nights to remind us that the light is returning. It's the same impulse that leads people to mail teddy bears and soft blankets to the residents of Newtown, Connecticut. It's the same impulse that leads doctors and medical technicians to use chemotherapy and other medical treatments to prolong the lives of some of our elders in this congregation, knowing that although the extra days might not always be easy, they can still be filled with love, learning, family, friends, beauty, and celebration. Hope and new creation. It's the impulse that leads so many of us, despite this age of societal uncertainty and anxiety, to commit to being part of this church, this spiritual community, to pledge our hearts and our hours, our volunteer time, our energy, and even our dollars to sustain this dream of a vibrant home for liberal religion. It's the same impulse that led our coming-of-age youth into downtown Lynn and Lawrence on a service trip to underserved communities. It's the same impulse that led several of our senior high youth group leaders to go into downtown Boston last month and spend the nights on the streets distributing warm clothes, serving food, and actually sitting down to eat and talk with the city's homeless. Hope and new creation. It's that same impulse that led little Anne Frank to write, "In spite of everything, I still believe that people are good at heart." It's the same impulse that led Universalist John Murray to proclaim, "You may possess only a small light, but uncover it, let it shine, use it in order to bring more light and understanding to the hearts and minds of women and men. Give them not hell, but hope and courage. Do not push them deeper into despair, but preach kindness and everlasting love." Mystery, meaning, movement. The three elements of spirituality. Together, they provide direction and destination for our journeying. Spirituality is that which gives meaning within the mystery, moving us toward hope and new creation. Hey, maybe we do know where we're going to. Maybe together we'll find our way. May it be so. Blessed be. Amen.